So in my opinion, that's why you're not really hearing from a lot of black farmers right now, because there's not a lot of us, and a lot of us don't have loans like that. There's been a push, I know, within my circle of people to make sure that your land is paid off and that you are not relying upon the government in order to feed your family. Yeah, that's just my opinion, but what we can do is go and talk to Dad and see what Dad has to say about all of this. Yeah, so let's go check on Dad, like I was saying, and have him give his opinion on the state of black farmers here in the United States, because you don't hear too many of them, like I said, complaining online. And maybe he has an opinion that is slightly different from my own. I said what I had to say, but I think Dad might have something to add to the conversation. So Dad, I was talking about the black farmers and what's going on with some of the farmers, like what's going on in Nebraska. Why do you personally think that black farmers are not online complaining about what's happening with the government and government policy and complaining about losing money right now?
I think the black farmers, they're going back to old school. They learn by now how to keep the man out their pocket. You see, they learn to pay for things cash. They learn to pay off the house, pay off the farms. The government always talk about subsidies, different types of subsidies. When they sign up for the program, we as a group don't get it. You know, it goes to other people. Be honest with you, they go to the white farmers, the Asian farmers, and the system is set up for the black people, but the black people don't get it. They don't get the money. They'll find a loophole in there and a heartbeat for those farmers not to get the subsidies that they need. So the only thing left for the black farmer is just to keep out of debt. Stop borrowing money. If you're gonna have a bad crop season, you know what I'm saying? You know, make sure that everything is paid for you won't go in the hole. You know, keep the man out your pocket. That's what you have to do, and you come out ahead. But if you come and get this loan for that loan for this, that loan for that, you're gonna be in a terrible situation. Terrible situation.
So that's what Dad has to say about that. So he pretty much agreed with me that a lot of discriminatory practices have kept black farmers from participating in a lot of programs. And that's why I don't think you actually get to see them complaining online like that, because first of all, they don't get a lot of the things through the NRCS. They don't get to participate in some of the programs to relieve some of the expenses that happens on your farm, like if you need to have a fence or add a well in order to continue in business. Another thing, Dad, right? Okay. Dad, remember that black farmers are not plentiful like they used to be, right?
Yeah.
There's a lot less farmers now.
That's what I was telling you. The black farmers is in a survival mode.
Is in a survival mode.
So if you're in a survival mode, pay off your overhead. Pay off your overhead. That's the equipment, that your farm. Make sure you have your taxes paid. Make sure your house is paid for. Don't stop going and getting loans on your property.
Now, good morning, good evening, and good afternoon, Africans. I believe that you're doing fine where you are. However, I have a question for you. We say, or rather there's a proverb or a saying, it's more of a saying, that a friend in need is a friend indeed, right? That friend who comes in need is a friend indeed. Yeah, it's true. And that is, I think that's the best way to evaluate friendship. And so for this reason, I'm telling you this saying because we've had black farmers in the USA, white farmers in the USA, even before Trump, during Trump, you know. Some farmers have always been good friends to the government. Some white farmers, let me just be open. White farmers have always been very, very in good shape, in good line, in good agreements with the US government. But Trump came and changed everything for everyone. That is what Donald Trump came and do, you know. Right now, you probably know about the tariffs, you know. Trump came and brought the tariff to the United States of America. And these tariffs are affecting white farmers, also black farmers. It's only that black farmers are not speaking that much, but it's affecting both. However, there's one who is struggling more than the other. Black people have been thought to be silent, but I don't think they're silent. Black people have a reason why black farmers, have a reason why they are silent. Now, there's a video that was made by an American sister. She's trying to explain why we might perceive that black farmers are silent, that they are not being affected. And she's giving an insight why black farmers are silent while white farmers are all popping it out. Let's listen to her. I shall get back.
Why we are not hearing from a lot of black farmers during the midst of this economic decline here in the United States. A lot of black farmers have had to learn to be self-sufficient without government support. So in my opinion, that's why you're not really hearing from a lot of black farmers right now, because there's not a lot of us, and a lot of us don't have loans like that. There's been a push, I know, within my circle of people to make sure that your land is paid off and that you are not relying upon the government in order to feed your family. Yeah, that's just my opinion. But what we can do is go and talk to Dad and see what Dad has to say about all of this. Yeah, so let's go check on Dad, like I was saying, and have him give his opinion on the state of black farmers here in the United States, because you don't hear too many of them, like I said, complaining online. And maybe he has an opinion that is slightly different from my own. I said what I had to say, but I think Dad might have something to add to the conversation. So Dad, I was talking about the black farmers and what's going on with some of the farmers, like what's going on in Nebraska. Why do you personally think that black farmers are not online complaining about what's happening with the government and government policy and complaining about losing money right now?
I think the black farmers, they're going back to old school. They learn by now how to keep the man out their pocket. You see, they learn to pay for things cash. They learn to pay off the house, pay off the farms. The government always talk about subsidies, different types of subsidies. When they sign up for the program, we as a group don't get it, you know. It goes to other people. Be honest with you, they go to the white farmers, the Asian farmers, and the system is set up for the black people, but the black people don't get it. They don't get the money. They'll find a loophole in there and a heartbeat for those farmers not to get the subsidies that they need. So the only thing left for the black farmer is just to keep out of debt. Stop borrowing money. If you're gonna have a bad crop season, you know what I'm saying? You know, make sure that everything is paid for you won't go in the hole. You know, keep the man out your pocket. And that's what you have to do, and you come out ahead. But if you come and get this loan for that loan for this, that loan for that, you're gonna be in a terrible situation. Terrible situation.
so that's what Dad has to say about that. So he pretty much agreed with me that a lot of discriminatory practices have kept Black farmers from participating in a lot of programs. And that's why I don't think you actually get to see them complaining online like that, because first of all, they don't get a lot of the things through the NRCS. They don't get to participate in some of the programs to relieve some of the expenses that happens on your farm, like if you need to have a fence or add a well in order to continue in business. Another thing, Dad, right? Dad, remember that farmers, Black farmers, are not plentiful like they used to be, right?
Yeah.
There's a lot less farmers now.
That's what I was telling you. The Black farmers is in a survival mode.
Is in a survival mode.
So if you're in a survival mode, pay off your overhead. Pay off your overhead. That's the equipment, that your farm. Make sure you have your taxes paid. Make sure your house is paid for. Don't stop going and getting loans on your property, on your asset. You know.
I've seen people get loans on their house or their land in order to buy a car.
Yeah.
That's some crazy stuff.
I think that when I talk to different farmers and different people in business, some of them is business illiterate. They don't know the difference between an asset and a liability.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? They don't know the difference between things that appreciate and things that don't appreciate. So, you know, if you don't know what's going on, ask somebody that knows what's going on. Always have somebody that have a business mind, and let's talk to them, a general conversation, and help you keep on track. Because once you lose your house and your farm, it's hard to come back now.
And it affects generations upon generations. Hey, but before I finish the topic about it, let me show you what Dad is currently doing. See, this is what Dad is doing. He's putting down some pine needles. And Dad, what you think about the plants that we planted a year ago?
Oh man, I had made a previous short video, and I keep on forgetting the names of them. But
Iris.
Okay, and I love how they come out. They're very, very beautiful. You know, I love myself some plants. I love them. I love the color of them. I love earth tone colors in here. You know, earth tone colors, different unusual colors. I just love them. I just fall in love with them. I could just sit in a chair with a cold glass of iced tea and just look at the different plants and listen to the birds, you know, fresh air, and just enjoy out here in nature, you know.
Yeah.
But all of them coming along pretty good. This one, look at him. Look at the buds from this one right here. So it's coming along right here. You know what I'm saying? This one right here is moving fast. Now we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 more that's coming up pretty late. But this one, look at it. See the buds coming up?
Yes.
It's really looking nice. Really looking nice.
Dad loves his plants.
Yep.
And we try our best to take care of them.
The thing is, when you get, I hear guys in the 50s and the 60s, they say they senior citizens and just like that. You have to keep yourself in shape and enjoy nature, you know, eat the right food. Come out here and plant you some plants on your property, you know, and keep yourself active all the time. And stay away from them when people tell me, oh, my back hurt, my leg hurt. You know, I can't complain like that, you know. I get up exercise in the morning and get ready for the day. But you can see how the plants come along. Yeah,
they're coming along beautiful.
And you know, that last video I made about
on your channel?
Oh man, I had so many subscribers, it was a shame. There's a whole lot, and especially the women. The women just love these plants right here.
Yeah, they're beautiful.
They
and it's really nothing like the color purple.
Nothing like the color purple. Okay, look here. When I get through with this right here, follow me to the other side. Let me show our community the other plants that we have, okay?
Okay. So we do have them on both sides of the property up towards the front. Because, you know, we're very visual people. We like to have our things looking beautiful.
Yep, it's coming along real nice.
Coming along real nice.
And what we're gonna start doing later on, we're gonna get the straw. We got a whole lot of pine trees in the back there.
Yeah.
And we're gonna start buying straws. Mm-hmm. And we're gonna start
utilizing the straw that's on our own property.
Oh yeah. And that way we'll save a whole lot of money.
So we're walking to the other side of the property so that Dad can put more pine straw down. But he really loves the flowers that we picked out. I'm the one that picks them out. I go and say, you know what? Nothing like the color purple. There's nothing like the color pink. And that's what I do. And then Dad would be down with it. So I'll pick out the flowers and he'll put the flowers into the ground for me. So these are the other ones which are on higher ground, and they're actually blooming a lot better than the ones on the other side. These are one of our favorite plants. Dad, look at them. They look impressive.
I say these ones on this side of the property, although it's higher, right? Mm-hmm. It's doing better than the ones on the other side of the property.
That's true.
It is.
Very impressed.
I like that color. Oh man. Very, very, very good. Coming along.
We're coming along.
We came a long ways though. It's kind of funny how these plants right here die and come right back out.
But Dad, look at them against the farm fence.
Oh yeah.
I mean, it's a sight to behold. Like, look at that. It's beautiful. And like I said, there is nothing like the color purple. And I think you'll agree that these are some beautiful, beautiful plants. So, like, we have the same kind of design on this side of property we also have on the other side. So after Dad finishes this portion of it, he and I will sit down and finish the conversation together about what we were talking about in regards to who is talking most online about the economy versus who is very, very silent. And you hardly see any videos about them talking right now or us talking right now. So we'll finish that conversation up after Dad finishes putting the pine needles down for us.
You think about these pine needles, you don't have to step down on them, you know?
Yeah, you can just drop them.
You drop them, you'll take care of this.
That's true. The USDA says as long as there's 4 inches of mulch or pine needles, you don't have to worry about weeds coming through it. They did some experiments to verify. So just to finish our conversation about why you don't see a lot of black farmers online complaining about what's going on with the USDA and farm benefits and how they're getting ready to lose their farm. Like I said, a lot of it is systematic, and a lot of us didn't. First of all, the decrease in farmers have been happening since 1990. Like, it's real bad. I think it's only 1% of farmers that's black right now that's registered with the USDA, and they're black. There's only 1% compared to where it used to be, what, I think 13%. So it's dropped substantially, like ridiculously low. A lot of black farmers have lost their land through eminent domain, through systematic issues. And so there's, number one, there's not a lot of black farmers. And number two is when it's time to give out benefits or to help people to further their farm, black farmers are often overlooked. They don't allow black farmers to get, it's just a fact. There's been a history of discrimination, so they're not able to get loans and other benefits that come from the USDA to continue in business. And so that's another issue. And so you don't see a lot of black farmers relying on the USDA like that. So they're not going to be online complaining like you have other farmers that's out in Nebraska and other parts of the United States who are white farmers. You're not going to see black farmers talking like that because, number one, most of them are living debt free. They're not involved in the programs from the USDA, and there's not a lot of us here in the United States. So a thing that I wanted to kind of like bring up, what my dad has always taught me, and he has said it recently out there where we were putting the pine needles around the iris, the bearded iris. Dad always has told me, and because of my accounting background and because Dad has spoken this into my ear so often, he always talks about keeping the man out of your pocket. And when he says that, I think a lot of people think, oh, he's talking about the white man, keep the white man out your pocket. It's more than just, I guess, that. It's more of a systematic, like keep the government, keep the corporations, keep the system from putting you in a position of debt where you are not able to maneuver during times of decline. And I think that's what you mean, right, Dad?
Yeah.
Okay.
Back in my days, we had farmers that really couldn't read and write, but they had vast acres of land, like the Majors, the Pace, Molly Polymaze. Yeah, and you can name all of them, you know. We had so many, we're in the Goose community, you know, in the Homestead community, and the Perrine community. We had, but their thing was to keep the man out of their pocket. And if a person that can't read and write knew how to keep the man out of the pocket, what do you think about it? Yeah, think about an educated person, you know? So we have to go back to the old school and stop getting all these loans and keep ourselves update with the laws, the new laws coming out, and pay your property tax, pay your property tax, pay your property tax. And another thing, set up your property with a trust fund. That
way it bypasses probate.
Yeah. And do these things.
Keep the system out of your business. Like
yeah. And then if you have a farm, get the family together on a monthly basis and talk about business, you know. Just have hey, every third Sunday, every fourth Sunday we'll come to the house and have a sit down and we talk about business and finance, you know. We got to start doing that, you know. Because if we don't do it, and ain't nobody else gonna help us, you know. So minimize the man in your pocket, pay off know the difference between things that appreciate and things that don't appreciate.
That depreciate, right?
Yeah. And make sure you understand the difference. And try to pay off your house, try to pay off your land.
Don't have a car note. Even the type of cars that we buy, they're salvage units. We never buy no new car right off the lot. No new
cars, no.
Salvage units are the best.
Yeah.
I had my salvage unit for years and it only cost me $5,000. My son has a salvage unit. Everybody has a salvage unit. So we don't buy new cars because we know that as soon as you drive them off the lot, they depreciate. So we do a lot to minimize overhead. And I think that's what's going on, why you don't see a lot of particularly like black farmers online complaining about what's happening in this economy, because you're not going to hear them talk about getting ready to lose their land.
And for the equipment, back in the days, black farmers know how to network. You know what I mean by network? If they had a tractor, they let another black farmer use that tractor, you know?
It's still going on today.
You know what I'm saying? So you have to go back to that.
When we went to visit Loretta and Mr. Sam
down in Augusta.
Yeah, in Augusta, they have a network
bad network.
Oh, their network was really good with younger farmers and also neighboring farmers all helping each other, and they're all black, and so they're relying on each other for support and growth. Yeah. So yeah, tractors are involved in that, and You know, when one person don't have something, the other person does. So there's a community of support.
I remember when my daughter first bought this property, and people was talking about negativity. And they didn't see the beauty of it. Now they see the beauty of it, and they're upset like hell. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, whatever you decide to do, you pray about it, you know, and listen to yourself, and you go forward, you know? There's the people back in the 50s, the 40s, the 30s, the 20s could do what they did. We could do even better if we stop this mess around, you know what I'm saying? Concentrate on what we put here to do. Right. And we'll be able to go to the next level.
And stay away from them loans.
Yeah.
Because if you have loan on your land and then loan on your house and then loan on your equipment, I think you're guaranteed to fail. Yeah, that money, in this system.
Yeah, that money sounds good, you know what I'm saying, when you get it. But when you get ready to pay it back, it's a headache.
Yeah, it's definitely a headache.
You know what I'm saying? You know? So
that's just our opinion, why you don't see a lot of black farmers online complaining right now during the state of this economy.
Here's an insight. It's something that was also said by this specific woman in her video. She gave such an explicit and an informative description about why black farmers are silent. Here it is. During the tariff wars, particularly under the Trump administration, many farmers across the U.S. voiced concerns about the impact of retaliatory tariffs from countries like China. However, black farmers were notably quieter in the public discourse. This silence is not due to a lack of impact, but rather a deeper, more historical context. Black farmers have long faced systemic discrimination from government agencies, especially the USDA, which denied them loans, subsidies, and the other forms of support routinely given to the white farmers. So those benefits that were given to white farmers were never being given to the black farmers. And so right now, those things have been pulled away from the white farmers, that which was being denied the black ones. Now they're feeling really bad about it, you know. So some of these subsidies were loans and other forms of support, you know. Because of this long-standing marginalization, many black farmers do not expect fair treatment in the first place and therefore feel it is not worth complaining. The number of black farmers in the US has also drastically declined over the last century, making our collective voice smaller and more easily overlooked. In 1920, there were nearly 1 million black farmers, but today, that number is estimated to be fewer than 50,000. Centuries of discriminatory policies, land theft, and lack of institutional support have pushed many black families out of agriculture entirely. With fewer black farmers in operation, their economic and political influences during events like the tariff wars is minimal, and our struggle often go unnoticed in the broader agricultural narrative. Furthermore, many black farmers have learned through experience that speaking out does not always lead to change, but instead it can bring further scrutiny and retaliation. This historical context contributes to a culture of resilience and caution. For some, the idea of voicing their frustration during the tariffs wars felt like shouting into the void. Rather than complaining publicly, many continued to adopt quietly, drawing on generations of perseverance in a system that rarely worked in the favor of the black community. You know, as black people, people have learned that no one was going to save us. We had to keep it small and manageable. So that is where the world places us as black people, as black farmers. So whatever those people are getting, do you think they deserve to get it? Because if they were getting their fair share of their meat, I believe they should also get their fair share of the poison. Because one man's meat is another man's poison. What they were rejoicing, we were crying. Now what they are crying, they want us to cry together with them. No, we won't. We won't laugh either. We'll just stand there and watch. Because the United States was not built for the black people. It was built for other races, you know. This is also a statement that Akon the musician, someone who is a billionaire in dollars, said, came from his mouth, that we black people, it was not made for us. So that is why we always have such movements, move to Africa, come to Tanzania, come to Ghana, come to Kenya. Yeah, let no one put fear in you about coming to these countries. They themselves live here probably, and so you can also move here, where you can farm, you can work easily as an individual. Yes. So guys, thank you for watching. I know you have watched it till the end, and if you have, thank you a lot. And see you in the next one. Let's continue this discussion on the comment section. Thank you a lot.